The moon's surface was quiet now. Smoke rose from shattered machines and scorched metal. What was once a battlefield had turned into a graveyard. The air was thin and dry. Every breath came with effort. Tara lay between two broken armored carriers. Her right leg was crushed under a large piece of steel. Her weapon was gone. Her helmet visor flickered. She had not moved in hours. She looked up at the sky. The twin planets above the moon had already passed overhead. That meant half a day had gone. Her squad was gone too. Burned out. Shot down. No one was coming back. Tara was a warrior of the Corran people. Tall, strong, born for war. Her armor, once shining blue, was now scratched, cracked, and dark with dry blood. Her long braid was loose and covered in ash. Her face showed no fear, only calm. But inside, her thoughts were not calm. She was trained to fight until death. If the body fails, the mind must endure. If captured, she must not speak. If left behind, she must die with honor. These were the laws of her people. But dying here felt wrong. Not brave. Not noble. Just alone. She coughed and wiped her mouth. Her glove came back red. That was new. She could feel cold creeping into her hands and chest. Not from the air. From inside. Her comm device had stopped working in the blast. All she had now was silence. A soft sound broke that silence. A faint crunch of boots on dust. Someone was coming. Tara reached for the small blade on her belt. It was dull, chipped, but still a weapon. She raised it slowly. A figure stepped out from behind a broken shuttle wing. Not Corran, not enemy, human. He wore light scout armor, brown and gray, a simple helmet with a cracked faceplate. His left arm was bandaged. His right held a small pulse rifle, pointed at the ground. He raised one hand. "I'm not here to fight," he said. Tara narrowed her eyes. "Human, go away." He didn't move. "You're hurt." I picked up a weak signal. Thought someone might still be breathing. She coughed again. "Leave me. My people are dead. Yours too. Probably." The human looked around. "Maybe. But you're not." She tried to sit up and groaned in pain. Her leg was still trapped. She bit her lip, refusing to cry out. Her pride would not allow it. The human stepped closer, slowly, like he was approaching a wild animal. "Name's Rain," he said. Tara didn't answer. He knelt beside the metal pinning her leg. He touched it, then looked at her. "It's heavy. Might take time. But I can get you out." "Why would you help me?" she asked, staring at him. "Because you're still alive," Rain said. "And I don't leave people behind. I am not your people." She replied, "Doesn't matter to me." Tara looked at his face. He was younger than she thought. His voice was calm but tired. His eyes showed pain. He had seen battle too. Rain pulled a tool from his belt and started working on the wreckage. The metal creaked as he shifted it. "Stop," she said. "You'll hurt yourself." He kept working. "Maybe, but it's better than letting you die here." She looked away. The ground beside her was blackened from fire. Part of her braid had burned off. "You humans are strange," she said quietly. "Yeah," he replied. "I've heard that before." The metal finally moved with a sharp crack. Tara cried out as her leg slipped free. The pain was sharp, but she kept from screaming. Rain pulled a medical patch from his kit and pressed it to her thigh. She winced. "Bone's broken," he said. "We'll need to move before the next patrol sweeps through." "You think I can walk?" she asked. "No. That's why I'll carry you." Her eyes widened. "You would carry a crippled warrior across enemy land?" Rain smiled a little. "You don't seem like the type to enjoy being called crippled." She was quiet for a long moment, then nodded once. "Fine. But if I slow you down, leave me." "I won't." He bent down and lifted her onto his back. She was heavy, her armor adding more weight. But he didn't complain. Her arm wrapped around his shoulder. "You're not weak," she said. "Neither are you," Rain replied. He started walking, one step at a time, over broken land and sharp stone. Behind them, smoke rose from the ruins. Ahead, shadows waited in the distance. The warrior who had waited for death now clung to life. And the human who came alone now carried more than just a body. He carried a warrior's pride. A chance at survival, and maybe the beginning of something neither of them yet understood. Rain moved slowly over the rough surface of the moon. Dust rose with each step. Sharp rocks and pieces of broken metal were scattered everywhere. He had to keep his eyes on the ground, and his ears open. One wrong move could end both their lives. Tara clung to his back, her body heavy with armor, her breath steady but weak. Her leg throbbed with pain, and her pride stung even more. She had been carried before, but only once, as a child. Now a human was carrying her, and she did not know how to feel about it. "You can still put me down," she said, her voice near his ear. Rain didn't stop. "Not happening. I'm slowing you down." He gave a short breath through his nose. "I've carried heavier." "You're fine." Tara was silent for a moment. Then she said, "You should know something." "What's that?" "I voted against your species joining the Galactic Alliance." Rain kept walking. He didn't seem surprised. "A lot of your kind did. I thought humans were soft. Too emotional. Not ready for war." Rain gave a small smile. "We get that a lot. You don't care?" "I care more about staying alive right now," he said, "and helping you stay alive too." Tara didn't answer. She stared at the back of his helmet. He moved with purpose. Each step was firm. Even though his own arm was injured, he didn't complain. Even though her armor made it harder, he didn't ask her to remove it. He didn't try to impress her or win her approval. He just kept going. They passed through a narrow canyon between sharp black cliffs. A low buzzing sound echoed through the air. Rain stopped and crouched quickly behind a fallen metal beam. "Drone," he whispered. Tara tilted her head. She saw it to a small enemy scout drone flying low, scanning the area. Rain placed her gently behind cover and raised his rifle. He waited until the drone passed overhead, then fired once, a clean hit. The drone dropped without noise. "Good shot," Tara said. "I don't waste ammo," he replied. He picked her up again. As they moved forward, she asked, "Are you a soldier?" Rain shook his head. "Scout. I look for survivors and weak spots. Usually alone. No squad." They didn't make it. Tara's grip on his shoulder tightened for a moment. "Mine didn't either." "I know," he said quietly. They reached a burned-out shuttle, half buried in dust. Rain ducked inside to rest. The walls were cracked, but it gave some cover. He set Tara down carefully against a wall. She winced as her leg moved. The pain was sharp now, no longer dull. Rain knelt and checked the medical patch. It was holding, but she needed better treatment. "You need pain blockers," he said. "No," Tara replied. "Pain keeps me sharp." He didn't argue. He gave her water from his flask. She took a small sip. "You really believe in helping strangers?" she asked. "I believe in doing the right thing, even if it costs your life." Rain looked at her. "Yes." Tara studied him. There was no pride in his voice. No need to prove anything. Just truth. "I used to think humans were weak because you care so much," she said. Rain smiled a little. "Caring doesn't make us weak. It makes us dangerous to those who try to break us." For the first time since they met, Tara laughed quietly. It surprised her. She hadn't laughed since the battle began. "You're different," she said. Rain nodded. "So are you?" He peeked outside the shuttle. The sky was growing darker. A storm was coming. The moon's winds were wild and cold. They had to find better shelter soon. "There's an old mining tunnel nearby," he said. "If we reach it before night, we can rest properly." Tara looked at her leg. "I'll slow you again." Rain pulled a rope from his belt and wrapped it around his waist and hers. "Then I guess we'll go together again." As he lifted her, she said, "You never told me why you joined the war." Rain paused. "My sister was on a research ship. The enemy shot it down. She didn't survive." Tara lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry. It's not your fault." He walked out of the shuttle, carrying her again into the dust and wind. The storm had started. Small rocks flew through the air. Rain leaned forward, pushing against the wind. Tara rested her head lightly against his back. She no longer saw him as soft. She no longer felt shame in being carried. She had faced death. He had offered life. That was no weakness. They reached the edge of the canyon. A hole in the rock led into darkness. "This is it," Rain said. He climbed down carefully and stepped into the tunnel. The air was still. No machines, no drones, just silence. He set Tara down and lit a small lantern. The soft light filled the space with warmth. She looked at him. You saved me. Rain shook his head. Not yet, but I will. Tara nodded. Then, I will protect you too. As long as I can. The storm raged outside, but inside the tunnel, the two survivors sat close, no longer strangers, a warrior of the Corn, a scout from Earth. In a war that had taken so much, something new had begun. To form. Not friendship yet, but trust. The old mining tunnel was dark and cold. The walls were made of black stone, carved long ago by machines. Echoes bounced with every step. Dust floated in the beam of Rain's lantern. The place smelled of rust and silence. Rain helped Tara sit against the wall. Her leg had stiffened during the storm. She clenched her jaw to stop herself from groaning. He noticed but didn't say anything. We'll rest for 1 hour, Rain said. Then we move again. I don't want to stay in one place too long. Tara gave a tired nod. How far to friendly ground? Too far to walk. But there's a comm tower on the other side of these tunnels. If we reach it, I can call for help. Tara studied the tunnel. Enemy forces will likely guard it. I know, he said. Ray and removed his helmet. His short hair was soaked with sweat. A cut above his eye had reopened. He wiped it with a torn cloth. Tara looked at him quietly. You bleed like us. You hurt like us. But still you walk forward. I walk because stopping means dying. Tara turned her gaze away. I used to think that only warriors understood pain. I was wrong. He glanced at her. Pain doesn't make someone a warrior. What you do after pain does. They sat in silence. The tunnel hummed softly with the sound of wind outside. Somewhere far behind, a low metal screech echoed. Rain stood up at once. What is it? Tara asked. Movement. Metal on metal sound. Not natural. He moved toward the entrance and crouched low, scanning the path they had come from. The wind had settled, but something was wrong. Too quiet now. No storm sounds, no dust. Then came the red blink, a distant light, small and sharp. Drone, he whispered. They're tracking us. He moved quickly, grabbing his pack and securing Tara back onto his back. She didn't argue this time. I'll cover your side, she said. I know, he answered. They moved deeper into the tunnel. Rain's boots splashed through shallow water. Pipes ran along the ceiling. Sparks jumped. From broken lights, the drone's soft hum grew louder. Tara twisted her upper body, holding a stolen enemy blaster in her hands. The weapon was damaged but still fired. A red beam sliced the air. The drone had spotted them. It zipped forward, fast and sharp like a knife. Down, Tara shouted. Rain ducked as she fired. The first shot missed. The second clipped its wing. The third hit the lens. The drone spun wildly and exploded against the wall. Rain didn't slow. He turned down a side tunnel, breathing hard. They know we're in here now, he said. More will come. Tara checked the blaster. Power low. We keep moving. The tunnel split into two paths. Rain picked the left one without pause. How do you know which way to go? She asked. I read the map before we came in. Mining paths all follow the main vein. It leads straight to the tower. Tara closed her eyes for a second. The motion of being carried didn't bother her now. She could feel the tension in Rain's muscles. He was tired but still strong. Each step was careful. Each move planned. Another sound behind them. This time, not a drone. Footsteps. Fast. Rayn turned a corner and paused behind a large pipe. He gently set Tara down and raised his rifle. Two enemy soldiers in black armor entered the tunnel. Their masks glowed with blue lights. They scanned with rifles and stepped carefully. Rain waited. Breath steady, finger on the trigger. Tara watched him. His focus was like a hunter's. The enemies came closer. Rain fired once. The first soldier dropped. Tara shot the second in the leg. He screamed and fell. Rain ran forward and kicked the enemy's weapon away. Tara aimed her blaster. Ask him if more are coming. Rain pointed his rifle at the enemy's chest. How many with you? The soldier growled. You're both dead. We sent a full sweep team. You won't leave this place alive. Tara fired without a word. The body went still. Rain looked at her. I don't leave enemies alive, she said. He nodded. They moved again. The air grew colder. The tunnel opened into a wide chamber filled with old mining carts and broken machines. A large fire burned at the far end. Enemy soldiers stood around it, resting. At least 6 of them. Too many to fight directly. Rain crouched beside a control panel. He scanned the area. Then he saw an old fuel pipe leaking near the fire. He turned to Tara. One good shot. The pipe will explode. It'll distract them. She looked through her scope. I see it. He handed her a grenade from his belt. If your shot doesn't hit, throw this. I won't miss. Rain nodded. He helped her kneel behind a cart. Then he crept along the wall toward a ladder leading up to the higher catwalk. Tara aimed. Her hands were steady. She held her breath and fired. The shot hit the pipe. A moment later, fire exploded into the chamber. Flames rose high. Soldiers screamed and scattered. Rain dropped the grenade into the center and jumped down. The second blast shook the walls. Now, he shouted. He ran back and lifted Tara again. Smoke filled the air. Sirens started blaring. Lights flashed red. They raced through the side tunnel. Fire roared behind them. Tara's ears rang. Her leg throbbed, but her heart beat steady. She had fought beside him. Not just watched, not just survived. They reached a narrow bridge across a deep crack. Rain crossed it slowly, each step careful. Behind them, more drones entered the chamber. We're close, he said. The tower is above this ridge. Tara gripped his shoulder. Then let's keep moving. Rain didn't stop, and Tara didn't look back. The chase was not over, but they were still alive, still together. And both knew they were no longer just human and Corin. They were something more now. The wind outside the tunnel howled again. The storm had returned. Ice and dust flew across the dead moon's surface, slamming into rocks and broken structures. The light from the stars was gone. The sky looked like a sheet of gray ash. Rain reached the end of the ridge, his boots slipping slightly on the frozen stone. He had climbed the last slope with Tara still strapped to his back. His legs ached. His arms felt like iron. But he didn't stop. Tara leaned forward and spoke close to his ear. You need to rest. Your steps are slowing. Rain shook his head. Not yet. We're close. Below them stood a small outpost, half covered in snow. Its roof had collapsed on one side, but one room still looked safe. A metal door hung half open. The antenna was snapped, but the wall stood strong. Rain made his way down carefully, keeping his body low against the wind. Snow crunched under his feet. He kicked the door open and stepped inside. The room was dark. Broken crates lined the walls. A damaged heater stood in one corner, and old blankets were stacked in a pile. There were no sounds, no enemies, no drones. Rain set Tara down gently near the heater. He dropped to his knees, panting. Tara watched him closely. You're at your limit. I'll rest after you're warm, he said. He opened the heater's panel and pulled out a power cell from his pack. With a few adjustments, the heater hummed and gave off a soft orange light. Warmth returned slowly. Rain sat down beside her and leaned back against the wall. They were both quiet for a few minutes, just breathing, just feeling the warmth. Tara shifted carefully. Her legs still hurt badly, but she no longer cared only about the pain. She looked at Rain. His head was tilted back, his eyes half closed. You could have left me at any time, she said. I never planned to, he replied without looking at her. Even after I insulted your kind. Even when I said you were weak. Rain opened his eyes. You were scared, angry, wounded. I don't hold that against anyone. She turned her eyes toward the heater. In Corin training camps, weakness is punished. If you fall behind, you're replaced. No one carries you. You're expected to survive or die. Rain gave a soft nod. I've seen soldiers like that. Always alone, never trusting anyone. Tara's voice dropped. I used to laugh when humans talked about loyalty, kindness, or unity. I thought it was soft thinking. She looked at him again. But you carried me through fire, through storm, through death. Rain smiled a little. Kindness doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes it means you stand longer than anyone else. She studied his face. His skin was marked with dust, his jaw bruised. He had cuts and burns. Yet he had not once looked broken, not once asked for thanks. "What drives you?" she asked. "What keeps you standing?" Rain looked down at his hands. "My sister." Tara nodded. "You told me she died." She believed in peace, in unity between worlds. She worked hard to bring Corn and humans closer. Her last message said she forgave those who hated her kind. Tara blinked. "Even my people?" Rain nodded. She said pain comes from fear, and fear can be changed. Tara looked at the heater. The light flickered softly, casting shadows on the wall. "I never met a human like you," she said. "I never met a Corn who thanked me," Rain said, smiling. She laughed lightly. "Then maybe we're both rare." A sharp sound outside made them freeze. A soft beep. Then another. A red light blinked across the snow. "Drones," Rain whispered. He moved quickly and pulled down a metal panel to cover the broken door. Then he turned off the heater. The room went dark again. Tara reached for her blaster. Rain loaded his rifle. They sat still. Side by side. The drones floated outside. The soft hum of their engines passed by the walls. One paused just outside the door. It scanned the area with a thin red beam. Tara's hand gripped her weapon tighter. Rain didn't move. His breath slowed. Then, after a long moment, the drone flew away. Tara let out the breath she had been holding. Rain waited a few seconds before turning the heater back on. "We got lucky," he said. Tara nodded. "Not luck, timing." And quiet. Rain looked at her leg again. "We need to fix this. I can't keep carrying you forever." She smiled faintly. "That's the first selfish thing you've said." Rain laughed. "Even heroes need a break." He unwrapped her bandage and cleaned the wound. He did it carefully, without causing more pain. She watched him in silence. "You've done this before," she said. "Too many times." He applied a new patch and wrapped her leg again with cloth. "You'll heal," he said, "but slowly." "I'm not worried," she replied. "I have a human to carry me." He looked at her, surprised. "You trust me now?" She nodded. "I've seen your strength. Not just in your body, in your spirit." Rain leaned back again. "Then we're halfway there." She raised an eyebrow. "Halfway?" "The hard part isn't surviving. It's making it mean something." Tara didn't answer right away. Then she reached into her armor and pulled out a small chain. A flat stone hung from it. "This was given to me when I joined the warrior's path. I never gave it to anyone." She handed it to Rain. "Now I give it to you." He took it carefully. "What does it mean?" "That I would fight beside you, no matter the odds." Rain placed the stone in his chest pocket. "Then let's survive together." The heater buzzed softly. Outside, the wind screamed, but inside, the cold shelter, to warriors once enemies now shared warmth, trust, and something new. A reason to keep going. The storm passed during the night. Morning light touched the surface of the moon like a pale silver blanket. The sky was still gray, but calmer now. Snow had covered the ground outside the shelter, hiding old tracks and broken metal. Inside the small room, Tara was awake. She had not slept much. The pain in her leg was still sharp, and her mind was busy. Thoughts moved fast. Memories from battles, training, her old squad, and her decisions all returned in the quiet. Rain sat across from her, checking the charge on his rifle. His eyes were tired but alert. "How's your leg?" he asked. "Still useless," she replied. He gave a short nod. "Once we reach the tower, we'll call for evac. A ship can get here in 2 hours. If we reach the tower," she said. Rain looked at her. "We will." Tara leaned against the wall and folded her arms. She stayed quiet for a moment, then spoke again. Her voice was lower this time. "I haven't told you everything." Rain looked up. "What do you mean?" She met his eyes. "Back when humans requested to join the Alliance, I was part of the vote. A council of senior warriors was asked to give their view. I voted against Earth." Rain didn't respond at first. He just waited. "I said humans were wild, emotional, and unreliable. I said they were a danger to balance. I believe my words. Many others did too. Did you regret it then? Rain asked calmly. No, she said. But I regret it now. She looked down at her hand, her fingers stiff with cold and dirt. I watched you carry me through fire, through snow, and through danger no corn would face for a stranger. You never asked for anything. You just did it. Rain rested his rifle on the ground. I've been judged before. Not everyone sees humans the way you do now. I was wrong, Tara said. I thought power meant pride, that warriors must be hard and silent. But you showed me something else. Rain shifted a little. Not everyone on Earth is like me, but a lot of us try to be. Tara looked outside. The snow glowed under soft light. If I ever return to the corn capital, I will speak differently. I will say I was saved by a human who fought harder than most warriors I've known. Rain smiled gently. I'm not looking for praise. I know, she said. That's why you deserve it. He stood and stretched. We should leave. Before the next drone sweep, they usually fly over every few hours. Tara reached for her helmet. Help me stand. Rain moved to her side and helped her up. Her leg shook as it took some weight. She leaned on him, her face twisted in pain. But she didn't cry out. Rain adjusted the straps and packed. I'll carry you again. It's still safer. She nodded. Just promise me one thing. What is it? If I fall in battle, don't leave my body behind. Rain looked at her seriously. I promise. But you're not going to fall. Tara smirked slightly. You really believe that? I believe in you. They left the shelter and stepped into the open snow. The cold wind hit their faces. Tara closed her eyes for a moment and breathed in. Rain looked at the map on his wrist screen. The tower is west, through the ice fields and up the hill. He began walking, his feet sinking slightly into the soft snow. Tara was quiet on his back, watching the horizon. They moved carefully through the frozen land, wreckage from past. Battles lay scattered across the white ground, broken drones, metal shards, and shattered weapons. The land told stories of many lost lives. Tara pointed ahead. That's a corn fighter. Crashed last week. Rain turned to look. Anyone left alive? Doubt it. That squad was known for going down fighting. He stepped around the wreck and moved faster. The tower was not far now. Its dark shape rose in the distance like a lonely finger reaching for the sky. But something was wrong. Rain stopped. He crouched low. Tara whispered, "What is it?" He pointed. Tracks in the snow. Not ours. For people. Heavy armor. Tara narrowed her eyes. Enemy patrol? Most likely. Rain set her down behind a boulder and checked his rifle. I'll scout ahead. If it's clear, I'll come back for you. No, Tara said quickly. Take me with you. I can still fight. You can't walk. But I can shoot. Rain thought for a moment, then nodded. He helped her up again and moved behind the rocks toward the tower dot. As they got closer, voices became clear. 2 enemy soldiers stood near the base of the tower. Their weapons were ready, their eyes scanning the snow. 2 more were inside the structure, visible through the glass panels. Rain whispered, "We need to take them out quietly." Tara handed him her blaster. "Use mine. It's set to silent fire." Rain moved fast. He circled around the side of the tower, using the metal walls as cover. He raised the blaster and fired. 1 soldier fell without a sound. The second turned quickly, but Tara shot from behind the rock, hitting him in the back. He dropped instantly. Rain moved inside the tower. 2 short bursts later, the rest were down. All clear, he called out. Tara pulled herself forward slowly. Rain met her halfway and helped her inside. The tower's power was weak, but the comm unit still worked. Rain flipped switches and pressed buttons. The screen blinked. A signal went out. "This is Scout Rain from Earth Forces," he said into the mic. "I have a wounded corn warrior with me. We need extraction. Coordinates are marked." There was silence, then a crackling reply. "Signal received. Rain, hold position. Drop ship en route. 2 hours." Rain turned to Tara. "We did it." She gave a tired smile. "You did it. We both did." They sat down near the console. Tara leaned against the wall, her body weak but her heart strong. Rain looked at her. "Still think humans are soft?" She smiled. "Not anymore." The cold walls of the comm tower shook from distant explosions. Outside, the enemy forces had found their location. Rain and Tara heard the roar of engines and the crackle of gunfire through the thin metal walls. Time was running out. Rain checked the small screen on the console. The dropship was still minutes away. Not enough time to escape by normal means. They would have to fight. Tara, still weak but determined, gripped the blaster tightly. Her eyes burned with fierce focus. The warrior inside her refused to give up. "They're coming," Rain said quietly. "We have to hold this place until the ship arrives." Tara nodded. "Then we fight." Rain moved quickly, setting traps around the tower entrance. He used scraps of metal and wires from the broken machines. The traps were crude but could slow down anyone who didn't see them. Tara searched the storage room and found an old pulse rifle. It was dusty but worked. She tested it, firing a few shots into the empty air. "We'll need to be ready," she said. Rain took position near the door. Tara covered him from a higher platform. Together, they prepared for the coming attack. The first wave arrived sooner than expected. The door exploded inward under heavy fire. Enemy soldiers rushed inside, their armor black and shiny, weapons raised. Rain fired his rifle. His shots were steady and accurate. Tara's pulse rifle barked from above. Bullets tore through the air. Despite her injury, Tara moved with fierce grace. She dodged behind crates and fired again. Each shot hit its mark. Rain noticed she was slowing down, her breath coming in sharp gasps. He moved to her side, firing at approaching enemies. "We have to hold them here," he said. "The ship is coming." Tara nodded. "I won't let them pass." The enemy pressed forward, pushing hard. One soldier managed to get past Rain's traps and charged up the stairs. Tara turned just in time and shot him in the chest. He fell. With a grunt, more soldiers climbed behind him. Rain threw a small grenade. The blast threw two attackers off balance. Tara fired rapidly, keeping the rest at bay. Suddenly, Rain was hit. A bullet grazed his arm. He stumbled but stayed upright. Tara saw him fall and rushed to help. She ignored the pain in her leg and crawled toward him. "Rain," she shouted. He looked up, eyes wide with surprise. "I'm okay." "No, you're not." She pulled him behind cover and tore her shirt into strips to bind his arm. Rain smiled weakly. "You're tougher than I thought. You're still breathing, so don't say that." More enemy soldiers broke through the lower level. The fight was getting closer. Rain gripped his rifle tighter. "We have to push them back or we won't last." Tara struggled to stand. She leaned on the wall, then took a few steps forward. Her blaster was ready. Together, they fought side by side. Their weapons echoed through the tower. Each shot was a promise not to give up. Their breath mixed with smoke and dust. Rain fired at the soldiers below, giving Tara time to reload. She took a deep breath and aimed at an enemy climbing the stairs. Her shot hit, and the soldier fell hard. Rain glanced at the comm console. The dropship was minutes away. Suddenly, the tower shook violently. A heavy explosion blew out windows and sent debris flying. Tara was thrown against the wall. Pain exploded through her body. She struggled to stand. Rain helped her up. "Almost there," he said. Through the broken glass, the dropship appeared. Its engines roared, cutting through the storm clouds. Rain grabbed the comm mic. "This is Scout Rain, extraction team. We are at the tower, injured, but holding position." A crackling voice answered. "Hold tight. We're landing." The enemy soldiers made one last push. They charged with shouts and weapons raised. Rain and Tara stood back to back, firing until the last moment. The dropship's ramp lowered. Soldiers in blue armor poured out, pushing the attackers back. Rain lifted Tara once again. Her breath was shallow, but her eyes were alive. The human soldiers covered their escape, firing at the retreating enemy. As they reached the ship, Tara looked at Rain. "You showed me what a real warrior is." Rain smiled and said, "So did you?" Inside the ship, Tara was helped to a medical bay. Rain stayed by her side. The war outside still raged, but for now, they were safe. Two warriors from different worlds had found a bond stronger than battle, and a new hope for tomorrow. The inside of the dropship was quiet except for the soft beep of machines. Tara lay on a narrow bed, wrapped in warm blankets. Her breathing was steady but tired. The medics worked quickly, cleaning wounds and giving medicine. Rain stood nearby, watching. Outside, the storm still raged. The moon's surface was a blur of white and gray. But inside the ship, the warmth was a small comfort. Tara opened her eyes slowly. She saw Rain's face close to hers. He smiled gently. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Tired," she said softly. "But alive. You're a fighter," Rain said. That didn't surprise me. She tried to sit up, but a sharp pain in her leg stopped her. Rain moved quickly to help her lie back down. "You have to rest," he said. Tara looked at him. "Thank you for saving me." Rain shook his head. "No thanks needed." She smiled weakly. "You showed me a new way to fight, not just with weapons, but with heart." Rain looked out the small window. "The war isn't over yet, but maybe there's a chance for peace." Tara closed her eyes. "I hope so." The ship shook gently as it prepared to leave the moon's surface. Outside, soldiers moved around, loading supplies and checking equipment. Rain was called to speak with the captain. He left Tara's side but promised to return soon. Alone, Tara thought about everything that had happened, about the battle, the pain, the fear, about the human who had carried her through it all. She touched the small stone necklace she had given Rain. It felt warm against her skin. When Rain returned, he sat beside her again. "The captain says we'll head back to the base," he told her. "There you'll get better care, and maybe answers." "What answers?" she asked. "About the future, about the Alliance, about what comes next." Tara looked out the window. Stars twinkled in the dark sky. She felt a strange mix of hope and fear. "Will my people forgive me?" she asked quietly. Rain smiled. "If you fight for peace, I think they will." She nodded slowly. "I want to fight, not just for my people, for all of us." The ship lifted off, rising above the cold moon. The engines hummed a steady rhythm. Tara watched the world below grow smaller. She took a deep breath and smiled. She was not alone anymore. And the future was waiting.